to our voices. Wake up, everybody. Thank you for joining us today. I am Tangela Murph-Bailey, your host, and John Bailey is my co-host. Good afternoon, John.
Good afternoon, Tangela.
Today, December the 2nd, we will dedicate the month of December to talk about health care, wellness, staying well. We will touch on different subjects regarding holistic medication, regarding Western medicine, Eastern medicine, different things that are natural medicines. And today we have two very special guests that will be with us today. We have Mr. Brian Bordley out of Baltimore, Maryland, that will be joining our conversation later. And later today, we have, after Brian Bordley, will be Mrs. Alice Favors. She will be joining us. She is an author, and she will be talking about her books. And we hope that you all will stay tuned, that you all will be very attentive and listen to what they have to say, because it is crucial that we talk about the things that go inside of our bodies. Today, many of you all know the co-host, John Bailey, has been recently released from federal prison after serving 28 and a half years there in Kansas City and West Virginia. He is here today as my co-host, and we have various subjects that we talk about. As I stated earlier, we will be dedicating the month of December to talk about medication and holistic medicines. Now, I have a question for John. John, in the prison system, how are you taken care of when it comes to receiving what you needed for the body? I mean, migraine headaches, fevers, colds. And right now, I know the system is dealing with COVID. The healthcare system, how do they deal? And do you think it's a fair deal in terms of how they treat the inmates when it comes down to treating them?
Well, I mean, as far as the medical treatment, there are various procedures that you have to follow, in terms of receiving medical attention. And one of those procedures is that you have to fill out what they call a cop-out. And when you fill out this cop-out, it's basically a request to receive medical attention. So now, there's a designated time for you to report to this medical facility, you know what I'm saying? And they have to allow you to come there, based upon the different time zones that they have in order for each side to receive this medical attention. Now, the prison is divided into separate sides, which is the red side and the blue side. So on designated days, they have where the blue side will receive attention, and on the other days, the red side would receive attention. So now you might get sick on a certain day, but that's just kind of hard luck, because if it's not your day, the red side or the blue side, to receive this attention, then you just have to be sick till the next day.
Wow.
So yes, and that way, when you do get there, you get the medical attention that you're supposed to receive.
Okay. Now, has there been any kind of an outbreak since COVID, or people who have pre-existing conditions? I'm sure since you were released in July, I know COVID became an issue late February, early March. So what was your experience for the time that you were there, and how they were dealing with that?
Well, the way they basically dealt with COVID was that they went into a lockdown, and the guys are locked down within their cells 23 hours a day. They allow them out for 1 hour a day, and that's to take care of certain things like the showers, the telephone, the computer, to get you some ice or whatever you need to do in order to, maintain your personal hygienes or what have you. So, but other than that, they're just locked down 23 hours a day. And as far as the medical attention that they receive, you know what I'm saying, they would call them, come by and just give them medical attention through the door.
Give them medical attention through the door.
Right, yeah. And if they realize that you have a condition that calls for them to take you down to the clinic, then they would do so. But other than that, as far as medication or what have you, they would bring that around to you and pass it to you through these doors.
Did they have a separate area for the people who had COVID, or were you all tested to make sure that you were not mingling with each other with COVID?
Well, the test that they gave us, it was basically the temperature test, which is not the proper test.
It's not accurate.
No,
Yes.
not to determine whether or not you really have COVID. As far as the proper test, what I'm saying, where they insert the Q-tips into your nose, they hardly ever did that. So they really don't know if you got COVID or not. They might know if
Wow.
you got a temperature, but as far as you having COVID or be asymptomatic or what have you, they don't really know. And
Is there an infestation now there, though, with COVID? Isn't there like a separate unit? So they had to make some kind of determination to separate the people.
well, they did in a way. They had one unit where they would take you. If you developed COVID, if they found out that you did have COVID, they would put you in this one unit. You know what I'm saying? Where you would be completely isolated from the rest of the compound. But they was more worried about the inmates getting COVID. But the only way the inmates gonna get COVID it was that the officers brought it in there. You see, because they
Yes.
wasn't going anywhere. So anybody that was transferred into the prison system from another prison, before they could actually come onto the compound, they were quarantined for about 2 weeks and tested. They could not hit the compound without being tested. So the COVID that's getting in there, or that's in there, it came from the officers bringing it inside, and they know that.
So there's a place that when they come in, there's a place that they stop before they come into the compound. Is the compound the place where you all are housed?
No,
Or
they
what
had-
is the
yes,
compound that they stop them from
well,
coming into?
yeah, they would take them through what they call the SHU, the Special Housing Unit, and they would confine them there and test them, and before they allow them to come onto the compound, they would be quarantined for at least 14 days. And
Okay.
yeah, so the inmates that's coming in are not going to be the ones that's bringing it in. It's the officers that's
Right,
coming
right.
every day, coming from the community,
Yes.
that's bringing it into the system, and they
Yes.
passing it on to the inmates.
Were you all required to wear a mask at the time to be around another individual?
Yes, they pass masks out constantly, like throughout the week. But if you once you go outside your cell, for that 1 hour, it is mandatory that you must wear a mask. And the only people that they allow outside is 10 people at one time. So you have a total of 128 inmates in one unit, but they only allow 5 cells out at one time, which there are 2 people to each cell, so that's 10 people. So they only allow 10 people out at one particular time for that 1 hour, what I'm saying, to do everything they have to do. And that way, it's mandatory that you wear a mask when you come out.
Did you all lose any individuals due to COVID there at the facility that you
Uh,
know of?
not, not that I know of while we were there. And as a matter of fact, that was something they kept kind of in secrecy because you really don't know. But I had my brother to call and to find out uh, what they were doing in terms of testing, you know. And I had mentioned to him, I say the only test that they're giving, I say, is a temperature test. I say it's not proper. So my brother called to find out, from the warden, exactly, how were they administering the Q-tip test, where they insert the Q-tip into your nostril and take the proper test that it's supposed to take. And they really wasn't doing that. They wasn't doing that at all. So, and he actually found out that there were a couple of people that came down with the COVID, but they only said 2 people. So as far as we know, we don't know whether that's true or not.
I'm sure they're going to cover that up, and they're not going to probably be straight with you on that. How, what are, now, is there a clinic that you said if you're on the red side or the blue side, so is it like once a week, twice a week, or how often did they open that up for you all to go?
Okay, once a week, they have what they call sick call. And they have a sick call for the red side on one day, and they have sick call for the blue side on one day. So if your particular day is on a Thursday or Wednesday, if you get sick on a Monday or Tuesday, you just got to wait until Thursday or Wednesday to go to sick call.
That is really not the right way to treat a person who has health issues.
Yeah.
Something like that needs to be reported to the higher ups, whoever that individual would be, and it probably would need to go even higher than the warden, because it is important that you all receive proper health care, because you are still a human being, and you should not be treated any less than that, even though I know they do. So with that being said, John, we're going to talk about, and I'm pretty sure that the healthcare system doesn't have holistic measures in place or holistic means, and I'm going to touch on that a little bit before we bring our special guest on, Mr. Brian Bailey. And holistic, we're talking about natural things. We're talking about things that have no chemicals, that the body absorbs better and easily. It may take a little bit longer for something holistic or something from an holistic or homeopathic perspective, but it's better for the body because it is not laced with the chemicals. And you cannot overdose on holistic medication. We're going to take a break for a moment right now, and we will be back shortly, and you will hear from our guest, Mr. Brian Bailey, out of Baltimore, Maryland.
Hi, this is Pastor John T. Warren of Foundation Fellowship Christian Church. Join us every Sunday morning at 10 a.m., beginning November 29th, for our first public worship service. Just a little bit about our church. Our mission is to focus on God's Word, God's will, and God's way that impacts God's people for the illumination of the kingdom of God both locally and globally. Again, join us at 10 a.m., November 29th. Looking forward to seeing you there. God bless you.
The storks are bringing me a baby brother! We can do this together!
All right, let's go!
Storks know how to keep kids safe. Do you?
What?
Oh my gosh, you don't know!
I know!
You don't! Oh man, you laugh when you're uncomfortable.
No!
Making sure your child is in the right car seat is one of the steps to safer travel.
I will rock this!
You will rock this!
To know for sure that your child is in the right car seat for their age and size, visit safercar.gov/the-right-seat. Cool. Very cool. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
It's important to plan ahead for emergencies, like the storm. When it kicked in, we had a plan. We were able to get in touch with each other in no time.
How to find each other.
The whole experience was fine.
the most frightening 10 hours of my life.
If there's one piece of advice I'd offer other moms out there, it's to stay calm and keep to the plan.
Some parents plan ahead, some don't. Make sure you know where to find your family in an emergency. Start your plan at ready.gov. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
We're playing your favorite old school. Today's R&B. touch of jazz. You're listening to In Touch Radio.
We are back, and we have a special guest with us today. We have with us Minister Brian Borley. Mr. Borley, are you here with us today on the line?
Yes, I'm here.
Hello, and welcome to the show, Our Voices, with Tangela Murph-Bailey and our co-host, John Bailey. I'd like to introduce you all to Mr. Borley. Mr. Borley is a multi-talented executive wellness director of a nonprofit organization called OMOL, mentoring that houses various programs, youth entrepreneurship, culinary catering, grant writing, custom tailoring, life insurance provider for caregivers, and wellness coach services from Baltimore, Maryland. I have with us today the author of 4 books that will be released in 2021. Welcome, Mr. Borley.
Hey, how's everybody today? Thank you for inviting me.
You're very welcome. We're so glad to have you here today. Our subject for the month of December is holistic health, natural health care, holistic in terms of herbs and natural homeopathic medicines. Can you tell us a little bit about what you do, Mr. Borley? And I know you have a special program as well on Fridays at 9:30 to 10, and you give out different recipes and you talk about different herbs and what have you. I know I have a particular recipe I believe that you sent out. Can you tell us about, and I'm probably pronouncing it wrong, what is it, kamakucha? Kombucha.
Yeah, so kombucha is one of those elixirs that was designed back in the Asian centuries, designed by Asian philosophers or medical men that were trying to find a way to increase the longevity of their king. Am I clear enough?
Yes, it's just kind of low, your voice. Can you speak a little louder?
Sure, is that better?
Okay.
No? Yes?
A little bit louder, please.
Hello? Doesn't get any louder than that. I'm really speaking as...
Okay.
Is that better?
Yes, it is.
So kombucha is a fermented beverage. For so many years, African Americans drank Pepsis and Coca-Colas. And at one time in history, Coca-Cola was a medicinal tonic. We've all had that Coca-Cola syrup back in those days when we were little that your grandmother gave you if you had a sore throat or excessive cough. Over time, corporations found out they could replace the health component with a lot of synthetic ingredients, thus making a beverage a dead beverage. Kombucha stands in that place of giving you a fermented tea with an effervescence, almost like apple cider mixed with an Alka-Seltzer. It's designed to do some unbelievable things in the body because it has yerba mate is the tea that has been fermented almost in the process like how we make wine. Wine is a health tonic for many people. Wine and those grapes do some amazing things in our system just because of the coloring and the skin of the grape. Similar, that's what happens in kombuchas. Kombuchas do a lot of great things in your body, from balancing out your blood sugar to helping you with high blood pressure. And unfortunately, most of us have even never heard of kombucha or have never tried a bottle of kombucha. So outside of that, because it's a probiotic, it helps your digestion. So for my folks with acid reflux and GERD, kombuchas are one of the best things I recommend for my clients to help balance some of that acid on top of changing your diet. It benefits by giving you energy and enzymes in your B vitamins. It detoxifies the body, and it helps to ease joint pain. Most of our joint pain is from putting too much white sugar in our bodies. By using a kombucha, you're actually putting something in that helps to push that white sugar out of your body, and it helps to dispel gout.
Gout.
On top of that, it'll help with gout, weight loss. It helps, and it strengthens your immune system. So every day you can drink a kombucha, and it would strengthen your immune system to fight against COVID-19.
Wow. How can we go about getting kombucha?
Kombucha's in every supermarket you can find around the country now.
Really?
It used to be a hard item that you had to go to a health food store. But now it's on everybody's shelf, from Walmart to Hearst Tweeter to, we're in Baltimore. We have Giants, we have Safeways, Costco's, BJ's, Sam's. All of them carry a variation of kombucha. The ginger ones are very good, especially if you tend to have immune issues, colds, flus. Even if you've got COVID, I put my patients on kombucha. We don't drink nothing else but kombucha when my patients are in COVID.
Okay.
It helps to turn the body's immune system around.
Wow. Does that also strengthen? Of course, that would strengthen the immune system as well. Can you take that if you don't have COVID to keep the immune system strong so that you won't get COVID?
Correct. So what I try to explain people in my analogies with this body is most of us love ourselves. Yeah, sometimes we might neglect it by putting the wrong things in. But for the overall picture of this, you love yourself. You love yourself like you're a high-end Mercedes vehicle. But oftentimes, we find that this vessel isn't running like it used to when it was brand new. Part of that was we put the wrong oil in our bodies. We put fast food oil. We put corn, canola, olive oil, Crisco, bacon fat. We put those bad oils in that make your car break down. That's like going to a gas station and just getting anybody's oil. It's not fully synthetic. Okay. It's not mobile. It's not Castro. It's not a fully synthetic, expensive oil. By doing that, you weaken your heart, you break down your arteries. Now we've got heart issues, COPD coming in your lungs. We've got blood issues with your high blood pressure. The second part of that is the gas. In order to make a high-end car go fast, you need premium gas. Well, oftentimes we put so many wrong products in on a daily that we've been putting in 87 and your tank says it needs 93. Mm-hmm. What happens to your car when it runs on regular gas?
Yes.
So those are the things I try to teach clients initially. How to put the right gas in your body and how to push out those wrong ingredients that give us those debilitating diseases, infirmities.
Yes. Thank you. Okay, what about anything else that you could recommend? I mean, how do you feel about other things, green things for the body or other items? I know myself and my husband, we use turmeric, things like that, soursop, green vibrants. What do you say, in terms of keeping the body whole and keeping that junk out of the body? We don't do sodas or, try not to, so, I mean, you said you all do kombucha. You drink that all the time. I mean, anything else?
Yes. So it depends on where your body is. And that's an individual case. Normally, I take my clients through a couple steps. Let's look at your blood work because it tells me what the chemistry on the inside is, and it paints me a picture while you have certain modalities, diseases, or infirmities in the body. And that way we're able to see what we need to take out.
Okay. Okay, Minister Borley. Now, Minister Borley, we're going to... do you have anything that you would like to say to our listening audience? And we're going to kind of wrap up this interview, and we will have you on at another time. Is it anything that you would like to push out or put out there? Anything you've got coming up or anything you need them to know about?
Sure. My contact information is TB7 Wellness Coach. All one word. I'm on Facebook, Instagram, all your social media. You can reach me at T as in Tom, B as in boy, the number 7, outreach ministry at gmail.com. TB7 Wellness Outreach Ministry at gmail.com. Right now, one less mentoring is trying to supply hats and gloves to the youth in Baltimore City. My link is on Facebook. I can send it to you as well if you care to donate in reference to just putting some Operation Warmth on a child this year. You can reach me, and we can probably do another show at another time that's convenient for you as well.
Okay, so you're trying to clothe, trying to put gloves and hats, right? I think that's what your initiative is all about. Okay. Well, thank you so very, very much, Minister Borley. It's been a pleasure speaking with you today, and we look forward to speaking with you at another time. Thank you. You have a good day now.
Thank you.
We're going to go for a break right now, and we will return shortly.
Been injured, you deserve help from an attorney that knows how to handle your injury claim. This is attorney Clinton Paris from the law office of Clinton Paris. For over a decade, I worked for insurance companies, and now I use that knowledge and experience to help people that have been injured. For a free consultation, call me, attorney Clinton Paris, at 813-413-7924. That's 813-413-7924, or at parislawoffice.com. At the law office of Clinton Paris, we take the pain out of being hurt. Offices, Riverview.
My name is Gil Sampson. I didn't come from a very rich family, and so paying for college would have been very tough. I don't know if I would have been able to go to the college that I went to, and then I don't know if I would have gotten into the career that I am in. So I think Bright Futures has done a lot to shape my life. Got a job as a structural engineer, and I design residential buildings, commercial buildings all over the United States. Because of Bright Futures, I was able to go to college. You know, so many kids just don't even ever get that opportunity, and to be able to do it and not have any debt when I graduated is amazing, and it was all thanks to Bright Futures.
Florida has created more than 1 million jobs in only 5 years, and a great education connects our students to these exciting opportunities. That's why the Florida Lottery has funded Bright Futures scholarships to help over 725,000 students attend college. Because every play is for education. The Florida Lottery, just imagine.
In Touch Radio, the most loved station across the nation. In Touch Radio. Tell a friend. In Touch Radio.
Hey, this is Agent Wright, better known as Mr. Clean. You looking for some great barbecue? Come see them two brothers in the grill, located at 423 Virginia Street, Charleston, West Virginia. We got ribs, chicken, pulled pork, brisket, collard greens, mac and cheese, baby. Come get some and get you a nice, smooth cigar. 304-550-4431. That is 304-550-4431. Come get some, baby. The Rib Man, mama, the Rib Man.
Good afternoon and welcome to our voices. Wake up, everybody. I am Tangela Murph-Bailey with my co-host here, Mr. John Bailey.
All right.
So, John, what did you think about what Mr. Borley had to say? Had you ever heard of that product, Kabuchi?
I haven't, not one word. But I have heard of what the disease he spoke about called gout, because it ran in our family. My father had it. And I think in a way I have a small touch of it myself, because sometimes you get it in your joints.
Uh-huh.
And,
I heard that's very painful.
Oh, is it? Yeah, I tell you, it's something you don't want to mess with if possible. If you could avoid it, I think the Kabuchi and anything else that you could take, it'll probably be worth your time, because you don't want to mess with gout.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I know another friend that has gout, and his thing is meat. He says he can't eat. He likes to eat sandwiches, meat sandwiches, and the meat gives him the problem with the gout. Well, we're here ready to hear from Mrs. Favors. Mrs. Alice Favors is going to be our next guest. And if you all have any questions after...
I have a question. Can you hear me? Here's your call.
Hello?
Hi.
Hi, Mrs. Favors?
Yes, it is.
Hello, Mrs. Alice Favors, the author. Welcome to our voices. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
Mrs. Favors is the author of You Would Never Believe or Never Guess the Number of Books. She's the author of 18 books. 18. Mrs. Favors is into all kind of things. She has she's just all over the place. She's such an extraordinary person. She has books for children, youth, adults, everything. She's available to come to your church or to your whatever you have. She can speak on various subjects. She has a real popular best-selling book about marriage. How to keep your marriage together. Is it worth fighting for? Marriage, as you all know, is a full-time job. It is a full-time job, and you have to work very hard at it. I've been married for 15 years, and it's been 15 wonderful years because we had to wait on each other. So when you get with the right person, it's a lot easier if you're willing to wait. So, Alice, you want to talk a little bit about your book and fighting for your marriage, and tell us some of the other titles of some of your other books.
Well, once again, Ms. Bailey, I greatly appreciate you for having me. Will you fight for your marriage, or will you give up Christian therapy? Is the book that I was in New York visiting, and a couple called me as I was getting ready to get on the elevator, and they said, I see you with a ring on. How long have you been married? And at the time, I was married 34 years at the time. And
stepped back and we started talking. They said, well, we just got married. And they said, wow, 34 years is a very long time. How did you do it? I said, the first thing that you want to do is pick your battles. You can't win them all. You won't win them all. When your spouse get home, give them that first 30 minutes to unwind. Because if they're driving, they got to worry about the traffic. They got to shake the day off, and then we walk right into them with problems. Or if it's a problem that just won't wait, you text them or call them before they get home and like, well, babe, you know, I need to talk to you immediately. So that would give them that time in the car to wind down and be ready to receive you. So that is how will you fight for your marriage or will you give up came in play. And another thing that got to me on this, we as Christians, I saw we were giving up on our marriages like people that wasn't saved. And that wasn't what the words say. So in the book, Will You Fight for Your Marriage or Will You Give Up, have a lot of scriptures that help you, that will help you to work. Because as Ms. Bailey say, marriage is a piece of work. And so that's that one. And yes, it's we did just a preview because it's on Amazon, and it had at the time almost 9,000 viewers. And I've already ordered 3 sets, and we have couples that's using it for marriage, for marriage, just couple study. We have people that say, well, I'm not married yet, but I want to be married someday, so I want to get the book. So I would know. And not only is the women buying it, they're buying it for their spouse. So I've had men look at the title and say, I want it. So you don't necessarily have to be married. You don't necessarily have to be going through problems in your marriage. You can buy it to prevent. You can buy it to help. And that's that one. And at the end, I give you my website that you can find it on. I have another one that's also being used in different Bible studies from here to Georgia and probably a little bit further. But In Depth of the Holy Spirit Workbook. That's a 3-star. And I'm sorry to tell you, my Will You Fight for Your Marriage is a 5-star already. And it's only been out like a month. So, yeah, we're proclaiming the bestseller. And The Power of God is another one. The Power of God through a faithful praying woman. A virtuous woman will pray and cover her loved ones. And that's a 5-star. And it's being used in different women ministry studies. So, as Ms. Bailey said, I will, once the pandemic slow down some, come to different places. I've already been asked to come to Georgia and do women ministry seminar with them. So I'm looking forward to that. And then we have another one for the men. God expect more. What's your more? What do you have to offer? What do you have to offer?
You said God expects more. What is your more?
Yes. What is your more? What more do you have to offer?
Good question.
And then for the children, I have one. I have feelings. I did that at Bear Creek Elementary, and I was previous educator. 19 years I taught preschool, and then I volunteered until the pandemic came. And
my mother used to be the guidance counselor there at Bear Creek Elementary.
Oh, wow, okay. She probably was there when I was there. But with the I have feelings, and I saw a lot. I saw children being bullied before it even came out as big as it is now. Now they don't hide it; they just do it. So I would sit, and this one little girl, they would say they wasn't gonna play with her. Nobody would be her friend, and so I would I would say, just to be her friend. And then when they saw me being her friend, and soon she had a lot of friends. But let me tell you, when these children see that you care, they will look for you. This little girl would be by the office door every morning waiting to see, are you going to stay today? And I mean, it's so hard to tell them no, but I would. And then I also have one, and right now, well, I Have Feelings will be coming out in 2021 in Spanish. It's right now only have it in English for the children, but it will be coming out in 2021 in Spanish. And then I have Animals.
And what age will that be for? I Have Feelings?
I Have Feelings. I really target at elementary and middle, mainly like about third, fourth, but bullying starts real early. They have a tendency to tell you in preschool, don't sit by me, I don't like you. So I would say preschool to elementary. Middle school, you can read it, you can talk to them about it, but you have to reach them on another level.
Yes.
So I would say this book would be awesome for preschool to about fifth grade.
I'm sorry. One of the things I like to touch base on that you just touched on was about bullying is because, at that same age that you speak of, I was bullied myself, during that particular time. And not pretty much knowing what to do or who to reach out to or what have you. It kind of led me down a path, what I'm saying, where it led me down the wrong path because I didn't know who to talk to or what to say to them or what. If a kid don't have a certain person in their life that they could talk to, of trust, to discuss these issues, it's going to be something that's going to affect them for the rest of their life. And that's what kind of happened to me in a way. And as I grew older and got to a point where, I just started drawing the line, say, hey, I'm not going to go for that no more. I'm not going to let nobody bully me. And what I did was I chose a wrong path and I started fighting back, in a certain way, So I just wanted to touch base on that, though.
All right, we're going to take a little short break for a moment. Alice, can we go to a short break and then we'll come back and talk a little bit more? Thank you.
You're welcome.
In Touch Radio anywhere on your phone.
Listening to right now, man.
In your car.
I'll keep that going.
On your computer. It's a new world, baby, and we are global. In Touch Radio.
By now, we're all aware of the dangers of COVID-19. Like others with existing health issues, cancer patients are at a high risk due to their compromised condition. If you are newly diagnosed with cancer, your care likely can't wait. Moffitt Cancer Center is the best place for your cancer concerns and to provide guidance to help you plan your next steps. We're here for you. Call 1-888-456-2839 or go to moffitt.org/here for you.
You've been injured, you deserve help from an attorney that knows how to handle your injury claim. This is attorney Clinton Parrish from the law office of Clinton Parrish. For over a decade, I worked for insurance companies, and now I use that knowledge and experience to help people that have been injured. For a free consultation, call me, attorney Clinton Parrish, at 813-413-7924. That's 813-413-7924, or at ParrishLawOffice.com. At the law office of Clinton Parrish, we take the pain out of being hurt. Offices, Riverview.
With author Alice Favors. Mrs. Favors, are you here with us?
I am.
Alice, I was thinking about what you were saying about your book, Fight for Your Marriage. And, it is a lot of work, but it also is very rewarding at the same time. It's not bad. It's just work. And when I say it is rewarding, I mean, the quiet time, you really have to be a listener. And I have to say that I am a listener. I try to hear everything that my husband is saying to me. And, you have to determine, do they just want to say it, or do they want you to fix it, or just listen to it, or have some kind of response? You know, you got to be able to act on those issues. You've got to be able to discern, like I said, do they just want you to listen, or do they want you to respond, or do they just want you to smile, or do they want you to do nothing? And, you know, I am a communicator, and I know in marriages, I understand that the three main issues are sexual issues, communication issues, and finance issues can be a burden to marriage if you don't talk about it and if you don't put it in check. And if you communicate, you won't have a problem with those other two things. You know, you talk about it. And I have to, you know, give my husband credit for that. He is always willing to talk. I mean, I'm the kind of person, I don't like to have a disagreement and go to bed. I've got to deal with that thing. I've got to talk about it. I've got to fix it. He may not want to talk right then, but he will communicate, and he will fix it, and he will apologize if he is wrong, and I will too. So we always get it right. We know we got to get it right. So, you know, that's the rewarding part of it. You know, and just the peace. We have a lot of peace in our home. No arguing, fussing, fighting, yelling, shouting, screaming. Nah, we don't do that. That's not us. Marriage is for grown folk, mature people. Alice?
Yes, and I want to just say, you know, the reason you don't have arguing, bickering, because you do the key thing, you talk about it. And like you say, when he's talking or you're talking, you all know which one. Sometimes all I have to do is just nod my head when my husband is talking. And that let them know that you are listening to them. You're attentive to what they're saying. So,
yes.
Yeah, that is, like I said it's a work, but it's also worth the work. It's worth putting in that time. So, yeah, I mean, I'm telling you, I tell my husband now, he and I like roommates almost. Because, you know, like now, you can pretty much finish one another's sentence.
Yes.
And that, you know, he said to me, you know, you are my best friend. And I'm like, wow, for real? And I mean, you know, look, things like that means a lot.
Same here. We have both shared those sentiments with each other. I've said that to him, and he has said that to me. And I can tell him anything, and I know it's not going anywhere. And he shares stuff with me, and it's not going anywhere. You know, it's like soulmates. So, you know, you got to give the credit where the credit is due. There are so many marriages out there that are not surviving. I mean, it's hard, you know. They're in divorce court. And I have talked so many of my girlfriends out of divorcing. I remember one lady called me one night, and she said, Tangela, I'm on my way to the divorce court in the morning. I'm on my way to go see an attorney in the morning, and I'm getting a divorce. I said, well, wait a minute now. Have you all tried to talk about your issues? Have you all tried to resolve them? And she said, no, because he won't talk. I said, well, I know you can't make anybody do anything. I said, but you don't really have a reason to divorce him just because he won't talk. I said, why don't you try to talk about it with him? You know, tell him it's crucial, it's important. Does he want the marriage? Does he want to stay in it? Does he really want to be married? You know, and unfortunately, later I learned he said he didn't want to be married. He just saw her as somebody that was there in the house, and he didn't want to be married to her any longer. And he got out of the house. He left. They're not together any longer, unfortunately, because they didn't put in the work. You have to put in the work with anything if you want it to work, whether it's a business, a marriage, a relationship, family, it doesn't matter. You've got to put in the work or it will not work.
It will not work.
Can I?
And what couples has to realize, and I don't understand why, but for whatever reason, that first year or maybe two is the hardest part of marriage. A lot of people, after the first year, they're ready to throw in the towel. And so to them, I say, after that first year, if you see all those problems, after that first year, I promise you, it will begin to look better. Because I know myself, before I started this walk and this journey with the Lord, to know what he said about what he put together, and for us to actually work with what he said with putting us together. My husband and I had a break. We had a break in our marriage. And my thing was, I was pretty much like that person you were talking about. I don't have to put up with this. I'm not going to put up with that. And, I can do bad all by myself, and I'm independent. I did all of that. I said all of that. And when my husband called me back and he said, I promise you that was only going to get married once and it was going to be to you. And then I was like, well, I don't want to talk right now. I mean, he really wasn't at that point the type that he was like this guy. He didn't want to talk. He only talked when he thought that I was upset. But I said, no, marriage is communication. So now I said, be careful what you pray for. You just might get it. He won't hush now at all.
We have a question for you, Alice.
Hey, Alice. Alice, this is Daryl Johnson, and I've been married for 40 years, and I agree with all the things that you say, but I got a question for you on people that have been married like 30 years or more, and then you find out they are getting a divorce. What kind of advice do you have for people with 30 plus years and they're trying to split up?
Yeah, now that's awesome because that's what I've been seeing a lot lately. Those are some of the people and some of the groups that I've been talking to. And what I found out, Daryl, what was told to me, without, saying in the deep details, most of the people that's in relationships that long and give up is either, as Tangela said early, the lack of communication, the lack of sex, the lack of just, doing what you do with each other. Well, they figure, okay, now we're not talking. He's just there. He don't want to do anything with me. My theory is, have you talked to him? See someone. Well, either one of the partners never want to see a counselor. They never want, as they can say, nobody to be in their business. And my words to them, well, the devil is in your business. So you're talking about breaking up a divorce. And this book, my book that I have, Will You Fight for Your Marriage or Will You Give Up? It gives a lot of insight. It gives a lot of good points on how to work on those type of people.
Hey, Alice.
Excuse me?
We're going to give away some books on this show after Daryl says what he has to say.
Is there anything in there in your book about sex? That.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
I did, and I can tell you what I always share with the group. I tell them no offense, man, but once the man hit 40, things are sometimes a little bit earlier. Things is not like it used to be. Well, what we ladies have to do is let them know, regardless, we are here for you. And it don't have to be like that because they have a lot of extra stuff now, and it's okay if we go that route to help. So what couples don't like to talk about is that sexual part. So what one individual will do is it be the man, he's going to get a younger woman where, she do all this kinky stuff where the older lady is not into all of that, and so that shuts down the door. Well, she sometimes will go get the younger man and vice versa. Instead of talking to each other, working it out, getting what it needs to help build that back. So that's what I have gotten a lot of.
Okay.
Miss Favors, Miss Favors, I'd like to ask you one question. In reference to some people, many people rushing into marriage, without, really knowing their partner. And I think that a lot of times this is one of the things that that will end up in divorces, because people don't really get to know their partners well enough before they get, acquainted, involved with them. And they rush into marriage, and
That's
then
true.
the next thing you know, they finding out that, oh, well, this ain't who I thought
Well, you know
it was,
what?
or what have you.
We're going to have to wrap the conversation up, but that is one thing I did not do. I dated my husband for 4.5 years before we rushed into marriage, so I knew what he was like. I was in his space. He was in my space. We knew. My prayer was, Lord, I want to see all sides of this man. I want to see how he's like when he's angry. I want to see how he's like when he's happy. And I saw all parts of him. We dated 4.5 years because we were afraid of each other. I was afraid of him because I had been hurt. He was afraid of me because he had been hurt. And we decided, we came together, and it was a beautiful thing when we did. And we have no regrets of doing it. We're going to have to end our show, but we want to give away some of Alice's books. We have some books to give away on marriage. If we have a caller out there, you want to call, give us a call. The number is 813-444 9588 813-444-9588, and then you call in and we will give you a free copy of Alice Favors' book, How to Fight for Your Marriage. And join us next week, same time, same place. I'm Tangela Murph-Bailey with Reader's Choice Bookstore. If you need gift ideas or any gifts, give us a call, 727-409-4310. 727-409-4310. I'm Tangela Murph, and
John Bailey, and we're pleased to have you.
Have a good day. Thank you, Alice.
You're welcome.